everybody, I'm Corrine Forrest, and this week I want to talk to you about the rut that a lot of people feel stuck in, how to figure out why they're stuck and how to get out of it. So when we think about being in a rut, a lot of people start to think about the external circumstances of why they're in a rut. And to be honest, we have all been in a global pandemic for almost the last year, and it's easy to blame that for why we're feeling so stuck. However, I'm not one to play the victim card very much, so I wanted to dig a little bit deeper than just the pandemic. So why are people feeling stuck? And you know what I came up with when I thought about this? It's our very human brain. Our human brain has one overarching goal for us, and that is to survive. On a very primitive level, if you are breathing right now and you are eating right now, then your brain is very happy with that status quo, and it's going to resist anything that it thinks might change that status quo to the negative. So given that we all have this very human brain who wants us to survive, I started thinking a little bit deeper about it, and I came up with 5 different reasons of why our brain is keeping us stuck and how we can get out of the rut. So the first one I came up with is lack of knowledge. Do we just not know how to do something? Your brain is perfectly happy with the knowledge you have if you're surviving right now, but we can overcome that by going out there and learning a new skill if we need it. For example, when I was starting a business last year, I knew how to do the do of my business. I knew how to give workshops. I know I have a coaching certification. I know how to give speeches. What I didn't know was how to run a business. So there was a big learning curve, and I could have stayed stuck in just the sheer volume of things I needed to learn. I knew nothing about marketing and branding and social media and the financial aspect of it. So my tip to get out of the lack of knowledge is to go ahead and Google things, do YouTube videos on things, and learn. The second thing that keeps us stuck is that you don't know specifically what you want to do. You're thinking, I need a career change and I'm really interested in becoming a pilot, but it might be fun to be an accountant too. And so you feel stuck because you're trying to decide between 2 options. Here. Now, the way to get out of this one is to take action one way or the other. Action is going to beat anxiety every day. And you may say, but I don't know which way to go. You know what? Just pick one. Because very few things are so permanent that we can't backtrack and choose the other one if we chose unwisely. But at least we've taken a step forward somehow. The third thing is lack of willpower. And no one likes to hear that. They like to think that they're a disciplined and dedicated person. But there's a part of our brain that wants to conserve energy, and it just takes energy to develop new habits. So how we get out of this one is to start small. And I highly recommend the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. In fact, I use his cheat sheet all the time when I want to develop a new habit. Like right now, I'm trying to develop a new habit of either strength training or doing yoga every day. And how I'm doing it is by starting small here. I'm saying at 7 o'clock every night after I clean up from dinner, I'm going to go either do 2 minutes of yoga or 2 minutes of strength training. Now, is that going to move the needle on my overall health? Not tremendously, but I'm trying to develop the habit of doing it every night at 7 o'clock. So lack of willpower is how we get out of that part of the rut, is to start small. The fourth thing is that as humans, we don't like to be uncomfortable at all. Our brain definitely wants us to avoid pain. And the discomfort is perceived as pain by our brain. So how we have to get out of that is by using logic. We literally have to calm that more primitive side of our brain down by talking to it. Like if you are afraid of giving a speech and you have to logically tell yourself, nothing bad is going to happen. What's the possibly worst thing that could happen? I'll feel an emotion. Big deal. I've been feeling emotions my whole life. So we can logic our way out of being uncomfortable. A second way to do this is to try things like meditation or prayer or getting a coach. They're very good at helping us get through this uncomfortable period. Now, another way I like is that I have an affirmation that I say to myself out loud every morning. And that affirmation goes, this feeling of discomfort is just a sign that my old comfort zone is having a hard time keeping up with me. This really helps me realize that it's just part of the process and I can go through it and move on. Another way to get over this feeling of discomfort is the same way that I talked about with the lack of willpower, is by starting small. Starting small, developing a small habit will only cause small discomfort. And so we build up our tolerance for that level of discomfort by starting small as well. The fifth and final way of that our brain can keep us stuck and how we get out of it is that you're giving up too quickly. Feeling uncomfortable is hard. It's hard to keep going through it. But if you stay the course, then odds are good that you're going to find that success to get out of that rut soon enough. It's a typical thing in business. Most businesses go out of business within the first 5 years. And most businesses find their best success in that 6th year. So a lot of businesses are just giving up before they're ready to make their breakthrough. So I would encourage you not to give up, to stick with it just a little bit longer, because you never know, tomorrow might be the day that you turn the corner and get out of that rut. So that's all I have for you this week, and I want to leave you with this from the lighter side. Picture a little spider talking to a bartender, and the spider is saying, you know what? I crawl up this water spout, it starts to rain, and I get washed back down every single time. But you know what I do? I crawl up the water spout again. Talk about a rut that I need to get out of. So don't be like the itsy bitsy spider. Let's do the things we need to do to manage our brain and get out of that rut. Until next week, bye-bye.